Hi, welcome to Craft Little Things. I'm Andrea, and I just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on the Beanies project. If you've not been following it, or you've not seen me mention it or heard me mention it before, or seen any of the publicity around it, what it is a project to get a wide community, either locally within your area in person or via the internet, as a sort of a global or national community together to make hats for good causes. Now, why it's called Beanies is because my nephew Ben, my sister's son, he died in December, on the 8th of December 2017, from undiagnosed type 1 diabetes. Obviously it was a huge tragedy. At the time, the last thing he did on social media was ask people to help him to gather warm clothing and items for the homeless and for Women's Refuge, for gifts to give to children, like so there was toys and things like that, and hats and scarves, little gifts that you give at Christmas. So we thought this year, his birthday was coming up in September, which just gone, September the 8th. He was born on September the 8th and he died on December the 8th. So there's exactly 3 months between his birthday and the anniversary of his death. And his birthday was coming up, and we were thinking, what can we do? We don't want it to be a really sad day. I mean, it did end up being a sad day actually, but it was a double-edged sword. Well, not a double-edged sword, it was a bittersweet day, because we did some lovely things as a family and had a lovely time, and then there was also obviously the sadness and everything that came with that. So even though you try to fight it off, you're not always successful. And sometimes you don't need to fight it off, sometimes you need to face grief and just let it happen. So anyway, we thought, wouldn't it be nice to see if we could do something similar to what Ben had been doing when he passed away. So we'd already set up a charity in his name that's been doing all sorts of amazing things since February this year. So we thought we'll tag on to that. I had the idea to see if we could get a few people who maybe followed his charity on Facebook to just make a warm hat to donate to a homeless cause for the winter. So we thought if we probably start on the anniversary, on his birthday, and run the project for 12 weeks up to the anniversary of his death. That's the 8th of December, so the winter will be starting to kick in by then. And whatever we've gathered by the 8th of December, we'll distribute to homeless causes in our local area. And then we thought, well, why don't we let people donate in their local areas, encourage people to donate in their local areas, encourage people to set up little communities and motivate people where they live to donate to causes in their area. Anyway, it all expanded. So we've ended up now, we're actually accepting, if anyone wants to send their hats to us, we're accepting them, and we've already had loads, and it's amazing. It's just so emotional when they arrive. You won't believe it, just a box of hats just brings us to tears, because it's just so lovely. And we're going to distribute adult hats to a homeless cause locally. We're also going to distribute more of the ladies' hats, because unfortunately more men are homeless than women. So more of the lady type hats we're going to donate to the Women's Refuge for ladies there. Children's hats we're going to donate to some to the Women's Refuge, some the really, really lovely soft ones to the local hospice. Sort of some of the men's and women's hats we're going to donate to the local Teenage Cancer Trust, because Ben's mum had cancer and she knows what it's like to go through the winter with a bald head, and she preferred to wear hats to a wig or a scarf. Scarf wouldn't stay on, and a wig just made her itch and hot. So yeah, so we're going to donate some there. And also the really little tiny ones we're going to donate to baby units for preemies. So lots and lots of people, and then obviously anyone can donate to wherever they like, if they want to keep what they make and donate sort of in the name of Beanies. We're producing a tag that will be downloadable. People can just print them, cut them out and attach them with a bit of ribbon to their little parcel or to each hat, and they can donate. We've got somebody who made 17 hats yesterday and she's donating them to the Salvation Army hostel. We've got people who already are donating to cancer units, to women's cancer units. All sorts of things are going on. We've got about 140 members at the minute, but we also have members who are not on the Facebook group, who don't use social media. And we set a target for those 3 months of 100 hats. We thought we'd probably get about 15 people join in, and we'd be able to maybe make 100 hats between us in the 3-month period. We actually had we'd made over 100 hats between us 2 days after we started the challenge, and now we're into over 200 hats. And now we're making cowls and scarves and mittens and anything that can be useful to anybody. So that's the project. It's still running. It's running until the 8th of December, and it's on Facebook. I'll put a link below. It's also being mentioned on the Ben's Charities Twitter and Instagram, so I'll put those links as well. And we're trying to do fun things. So when we reached 100 members, because we want to give something back, because people are giving their time. It's just an amazing community, lovely people being so supportive, and we're having lots of fun as well, which is amazing. My sister had been in quite a bit of a dip in terms of mood, and she was really struggling, and this project has just brightened her up. She's just absolutely loving all these good things that are happening in Ben's name, and she knows that he would be loving it as well. So we're trying to give a little bit back to our members somehow. So we are a charity, and every penny that we get through the Make That Change Trust is used to give Ben's gifts at Christmas. So we don't, we cover all our admin costs personally. And so we're just sort of buying little gifts and stuff, and we're hand making little gifts to give to our members for little challenges. So our first giveaway came when we reached 100 subscribers, and we gave away 2 gifts there. And then we had a speed challenge on Saturday, which was really good fun, and I think we ended up with 17 or 18 hats made just in that one, for that one challenge. The fastest knitter and the fastest crocheter got a little gift from us, which are going to go out in the post tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, we're having a online quiz, so you can join in that, and it's all going to be yarn, crochet and knitting focused. So for that, we're going to have another little giveaway for our first sort of the highest scorer and the runner-up. When we did the live the other day, the Facebook Live, during the speed challenge, I did a Facebook Live, and this was what I made. And for some reason, I went wrong, and I made this hat, which should have been an adult size. So it was a bit of a joke, because I made this miniature hat. I mean, who'd put that even on a baby, because it's just too chunky and thick even for a baby. It'd probably be nice for a photo prop. Then I made a pom-pom, and then people were joking that it was a pom-pom with a hat on, because the pom-pom's bigger than the hat. But anyway, we've decided I'm going to sew that on properly, and I'm going to make a bear called Ben, and I'm going to put this pom-pom and this hat on him and make a scarf to go with it, and I'm going to donate that to a hospice or to the children's, to the refuge or something. But I did then prove that I could do it, and I made the adult version. This is just using 2 strands of a grey and a black DK, acrylic DK from Mariner Yarns, which I'll link below. And I also learned a really good tip, and that is I have real trouble crocheting with black. I can't see it. So if you mix it with a strand of a different colour, it makes it so much easier. That was one of the ladies I learned that from on the group. So that was that little fiasco, which was really, really fun. This is our, so far, I'll move it across. That's our first sort of tally of hats that have come in. So there's loads there. I think there's 30 something there now. Then there's another bag full over here, which are hats that I've made as samples and stuff. So it's like this one, so I'm including those. There's a little orange hat there, just needs finishing off. There's a lovely big chunky red one, so they're added on as well. This was one that I made for the speed challenge when I was practicing doing the speed challenge. So you can use up remnants of yarn. Nobody cares what colours they are or anything, you know, as long as they're serviceable. And then what we're going to do for October is we're going to have a little bit of a different focus. For October we're going to be, you can still make the regular beanies, you can still knit or sew them, you can still make cowls, scarves, whatever you want to make. But what we're also going to do is we're going to have a little push on novelty children's hats to make them a little bit more fun. And these are going to go to the Children's Hospice, cancer units, and also to the Women's Refuge. So these are examples that I've already got sorted. So this is just a plain beanie, but it's got long plaits, which is quite nice for somebody for a child who's maybe lost their hair, just for a fun thing. Some people can have fun with this sort of thing and some people can't. So it's up to, and we know from personal experience that nurses are quite good at gauging who can have fun with it and who can't. So there's that sort of hat, even if not for that reason, just for a little kid who, my daughter wanted really long straight hair, and she would have loved this hat when she was little because she had curly hair and it didn't get very long. Little cute hats like this that just make, you know, just brighten up a little face who's maybe not feeling too well. These are like novelty little Halloween hats. It'll be a bit too late for this, but this, you can do the same sort of pattern and in a brown, and you can put a white top on and make it a Christmas pudding instead. This one is a character from Star Wars. This is a BB-8. It's just a beanie. That's a really cute one. Again, there's another pumpkin which could easily be a Christmas pudding again. That's got some overstitching there and the little leaves on the top. That could just be brown with holly leaves and a bit of white on it. Another little frilly one there. Baby bonnets, cute little baby bonnets. I mean, they're gorgeous. Lovely little gift. I mean, that is a beautiful pattern. It's really easy as well to make up. Then we've got things like this. Scary monster hats with a 3D eye. That's so cute. Little kids love that. Then I've got the bigger pumpkin hat here. So again, that could be a Christmas pudding or something. And then a little simple sort of Christmassy hat without it being obviously Christmassy. This is little sparkly wool that I got from Mariner. I think it was £1 or £1.20. It's not very much anyway. And I got that in white with the sparkle in it. It's got like the silver in it, and then just made a couple of pom-poms and a basic red beanie, and it becomes something a bit more special. And then last night I sat and made some little preemie hats, and I made I think that's kind of a basic sort of newborn size, and then I just kept downsizing and downsizing. So what I'm going to do is put them into a little bag, finish them off, pop them in a little bag and wash them in a delicate hypoallergenic wash liquid, and then I'll pop them in a little bag and let them go smaller and smaller. So there's a little set there. Yeah, so that's what's happening there. Right, so the other thing that's going on with Ben's Beanies is that we've been featured in an article in our local newspaper, and somebody's seen that from a national knitting magazine, and they're going to feature us as well. And then also our local MP saw what we were doing, and she has been really, she was actually at Ben's funeral, and she's been really useful and helpful with the whole project, and really supportive of Ben's mum. Her office has helped her so much with all the official stuff that goes with somebody passing away. So they've been amazing, and she actually mentioned Ben's Beanies in the House of Commons. So actually in our Parliament, Ben's name was mentioned. Now that was something we didn't know was happening. We had no idea about it. My son just happened to be watching parliamentary debates, as 18-year-olds do on a Saturday morning, and he just saw it, and he ran down and said, "Oh, Mum, Ben's Beanies is in Parliament." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And it was so moving because Ben was a politics student, and at one point he really wanted to be the Prime Minister, and he wanted to get into the House of Commons. And it was so moving because we thought, well, he might not have made it, but his name made it and his project made it. And what our MP Melanie On was doing was she was using this project to highlight, to suggest to the government, because our MP's in opposition, so she was using it to suggest to the government that they use World Homeless Day on, I think it's the 20th of October, to shine a light on all of the various and massive amounts of community projects that are happening across the UK to address issues of homelessness, whether it's from making a hat like we do, feeding people on the streets, finding housing solutions, advising people, providing people with food, somewhere to go to eat, hostels, everything. So all these people that are helping with all the issues that relate to homelessness, where the government is letting people down, really. She used the Ben's Beanies project as an example and said, can't we use World Homeless Day to shine a light on all these community projects that are happening to fill in the gaps that the government's leaving, basically. So it's so wonderful for us to be like a trailblazer for that, like the poster child for that campaign, because we think it's just really so important that people do just get a little bit of recognition. The issue of homelessness is the government's problem, but the government aren't doing anything, so people are doing something, and that says a lot about people. And we hear so much bad news, and it's just so nice to know that people aren't just sitting there and thinking, well, it's not our problem, it's the government's problem. They're getting up and doing something, whether it's putting a warm hat on the head of somebody, who's out in the cold, just to try and keep them warm and try and get them through another night, or, just to swap for an old dirty one that's had it, just to restore a little bit of dignity and pride, to at least have clean, warm, dry clothes on, or, whether it's the children who are in refuges are homeless. They've had to flee a domestic violence situation. They're not in their home. They're living in hostels. They're living in one room often with their mums. They've got nothing of their own. They've lost that. They've been through a lot. They've often experienced the violence themselves. And just to have a little fun, a little fun hat that somebody made for them just to run around in, can make just make a difference to their life. To be going to a new strange school but feeling all cosy and warm in their lovely hat that some kind person made for them, might make them think, when I grow up, I'm going to do kind things now, and when I grow up, I'm going to do kind things. And it just grows, doesn't it, kindness. So we're just overwhelmed to be a part of that whole project. And of course, World Homeless Day, on the 20th, we'll probably do something for that, as Ben's Beanies, or make that change. So that's it. I've updated you on everything now, and thank you so much for taking part. If you are taking part, for sharing it. If you're not taking part, please share it with people who might want to get involved. lots of crochet knitting groups, you know, on Facebook, where we can reach out to people who we know like knitting and crochet. They won't let us post, so they won't let us promote it there. A couple of them have. Mariner's Yarns have been fantastic. They allowed a post on their wall, and then they reposted that, and then they've retweeted things. So they've been fantastic. We saw Bella Coco retweeted the project as well, so thank you to her. You know, but a lot of people aren't really helping us to promote it, and it's a shame because it's a good thing. And, you know, obviously on our Facebook group, we allow people to share patterns, share tutorials, share their Etsy stores if they want to, and then we're sharing those onto our Make That Change website at the end of the project. So, you know, we're trying to give something back. You know, we're sharing companies that just help us by sharing what we're doing. We're promoting their products on our walls and things, and, you know, letting people know they exist. And our quiz this week is going to be, a couple of the questions are going to be about the Mariner's Yarns website. The answers are on the Mariner's Yarns website, so we're encouraging people to go and have a look at Mariner's products. So we are trying to give something back, even though we're not getting anything. These companies aren't giving us anything, but in terms of they're not giving us product or anything, but they are supporting what we're doing just by sharing what we're doing, and that's all we ask. And we're giving thanks by trying to send some custom their way, and to our individuals, trying to send some custom to their Etsy stores and things like that. So yeah, it's just a really supportive, helpful community. One lady, somebody's nan made 17 hats, and she just knitted and knitted until she ran out of wool. And we've had loads of members who have said, oh, I want to send her some more wool. It's just such a supportive, lovely community. So thank you to everybody. And if you want to get involved with it, links are below. You can make one hat or you can make 100. It's up to you, entirely up to you. And yeah, it's fun. It's a nice thing. It's a feel-good thing. So thank you so much, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.